Good afternoon. Welcome to Bulldog Update. Hi, I'm Mike Gore, and with us today is head UNC Asheville women's swim coach Elizabeth Lykins. And Coach, great to have you with us, and welcome.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Now, Elizabeth, the UNC Asheville brought swimming back last year, and this is the second year UNC Asheville will have swimming. Why did you take this job?
Well, I thought it was a great opportunity. I spent 5 years in this conference previous to joining the conference now. I felt like it was a place I could be successful. It was an opportunity to be a head coach, and I'm already looking forward to doing that for a year, but now I get a chance to hopefully make all those dreams come to fruition as we move forward.
Tell us your background, where you're from, and where you swam at in college, and the jobs you had before coming to UNC Asheville.
Sure. Well, I grew up in Gainesville, Georgia. It's a little bit of a smaller town, an hour northeast of Atlanta. Swam my whole life. And then I went to college at the College of Charleston, where I swam there for 4 years. And then after that, I decided to use my degree. And I didn't swim at first. Instead, I did some accounting work. But I always stayed in the business, coaching summer league, just being around the sport and still being interested in it. I decided I really wanted to get into college. So after 4 years of not being in the college business at all, I got into college coaching, and I got my graduate degree at Georgia Southern University. So I spent 2 years at Georgia Southern. They're also in this conference that we're a part of, and then I had an opportunity to be a first full-time assistant coach, and I moved up to Colgate University. And Colgate's in upstate New York. Very academic school, much like UNC Asheville. Another reason I thought this was a good fit for me. From Colgate, I spent 3 years until I had an opportunity to join the Florida Gulf Coast University staff, where they actually started a brand new program. So the head coach was given a year to recruit, and then he was able to hire his staff of assistants and diving coach, etc. I got hired there. So I got 5 years at Florida Gulf Coast University, where I helped start a Division I program, which led me to here, my first head coaching job, where I get to start my first Division I program as the head coach and hopefully lead these ladies to some victories.
Now, Florida Gulf Coast, while you were there, had a great deal of success. Really amazing, the championships they've won. And just tell us about some of the athletes you coached at Florida Gulf Coast.
Yeah, I really learned a lot at Florida Gulf Coast, and I enjoyed it immensely. I had a great staff to work with, a great group of ladies, administration, all the way down to all the other coaches that we worked together with. That worked nicely. We had our first athlete was my 4th year there. I'm sorry, my 5th year there, which was our 4th championship, conference championship that we won. Our first year, we were second by 24 points, which in a swimming world is very, very close. And then from then on, Florida Gulf Coast has gone on to win. So I did help them win 4 of their first championships. They've now won 5. I coached my first NCAA qualifier. Emma Svensson was also the conference swimmer of the year last year. She made NC2As again. But our conference is getting better, along with Florida Gulf Coast, adding in Asheville, adding in other schools as we go sometimes. And we sent 2 young ladies to NCs last year, and that was a big deal for a conference of our size.
Now, we talk about conferences. Your swim program is not in the Big South Conference. Tell us the conference we're in and the teams that are in it. It's a good conference, isn't it?
Right. Yeah, for lack of a better term, we're a bit of a super conference. Everyone who swims in the Big South is a part of this conference. But our conference is called the CCSA. Stands for the Coastal Collegiate Swimming Association. It's a conglomerate of schools. When UNC Asheville was added, we were the 13th women's program to add to the schools. So I believe it's 6 schools from the Big South, 3 from the Southern Conference, 2 from the Atlantic Sun, and 2 from the MEAC. And that joins together and gets us, I think if my math is correct, 13 women's programs and growing. We've actually added a team this year. To the men's side, we've added 3 teams and 1 women's team. Incarnate Word is the women's team. They'll be joining us. They're out of Texas. They're newly Division I, and they're a force to reckon with. They're going to bring some competition. And our conference is doing nothing but getting better, and we're getting more and more recognition, more and more opportunity for National Swimmer of the Week and Collegiate Swimmer of the Week. We obviously have a Conference Swimmer of the Week, but to be recognized, have the CCSA recognized on a broader scale, it's a lot of fun to watch that grow.
In your first year, very exciting. Only 8 swimmers for most of the year, but you had great crowds at all the meets. It really took off here at UNC Asheville as far as the excitement goes. Tell us some of your memories of your first year coaching at UNC Asheville.
Yeah, I've had a great first year. So I've been here about a year and a half now. The first year we did have 8 young ladies on the team, and we finished 9th in the conference. That was a lot of fun. That's ahead of 4 other programs. So when you only have 8 people and you're allowed 18, We felt like that was quite a stride. We had our highest podium finish was a second. We had 5 other scoring swims. You only score if you score in the top 16 at the conference championship. So we had a second, a ninth, and a 12th by Galen Broido. She's now a sophomore. And then another sophomore breaststroker, Alessandra Troncoso, did an excellent job. She won a lifetime, well, everyone went lifetime best, but she had incredible breaststroke swims. She went 102.8 in the 100 breaststroke in the morning. She got 5th at night, and in the 200 breaststroke, she was 7th. So both of those young ladies contributed to our relays. They're both returners, as well as 3 other returners that are joining us this year. They didn't have an opportunity to score in individual events, but everyone helped contribute to our relay scores as well. It
was so exciting last year watching your team play, and like I said, we had the great crowds for the meets. People really enjoyed coming to Justice Center Pool to watch that. It had been a long time since people had sat and watched a swim meet at Justice Center Pool, but if you could explain a little bit about some of the things that have been added to the pool, since you got here. People who who haven't swam there in a couple of years probably wouldn't recognize the pool, would they?
That's right, and I run into that every now and again. I'll meet somebody in the community and they say, oh, you swim in that dungeon, and I'm quick to remind them that, hey, they haven't been there in a long time, and we've made a lot of changes. So the athletic administration here has been so supportive. They gave me quite a couple pennies to go in and do some work. Brand new, a lot of paint, a lot of cosmetic work, new signage, we painted the walls, we painted the floor, we got brand new starting blocks. We have brand new lane ropes that the older ones were exactly that old and maybe didn't work as well, and we've now created an awesome environment. It's very intimate. It's unique, I think, to our facility. It's intimate to our crowds. We line up the home team on one side and all the fans sit on the other, and if you have a front row seat, watch out, you might get wet. But you have a great view. We have a scoreboard that comes in, and all the fans can watch the scoreboard and understand what's going on in the meet. And I think we had large crowds. I believe our biggest was the last home meet of the year, in which case we had just under 200 people, and it was standing room only. We used every chair we could find in the facility, but it was great, and the environment was awesome, and we had a lot of fans, and it was so much fun to have that many people come out and really support us during our first year.
Okay, this is the second year of bringing the program back, and what should we look for this year? You've got some more swimmers, so I think you're up to, is it 15 now?
Just under. We're at 14. We've almost doubled the team. We have 5 returners, 9 incoming freshmen and sophomore, and we're really excited about this group. I know that we're going to have lots of fast swims. We have 4 home meets. Our first one is September 21st. It'll be an inter-squad. We encourage everyone to come out November 8th. It's our first home meet against Radford, where we'll get to host a conference opponent. They'll come to our pool. Last year, Radford was a big competitor for us. They beat us in a dual meet, but we beat them in the conference format. So we'd like to beat them in both this year. That's one of our goals. Our second 2 meets are in the second semester. Swimming covers both semesters. We're a long sport. We're allowed to start practice the first day of school, which we took advantage of, and we go all the way through. Conference championships are in February, and then nationals are in March. If we're lucky enough to have somebody qualify for that.
Tell us about some of the newcomers who the Bulldog fans should be looking out for this year.
Sure. We've got 3 young ladies that are joining us from Raleigh. Alexandra Van Dorsen, Rachel Van Nort is actually joining us from Oak Island. Reed Jackson is from Raleigh, and Alice M. is from Raleigh. 3 of those ladies came from the same club team. Everyone's going to contribute some different opportunities. Lily Kidd is a freshman for ours from Valdez, North Carolina. We did branch out a little. We got a young lady, Mackenzie Hart, from Atlanta, and then we also have Morgan Dickey, who's joining us from Colorado. Centennial is just outside of Denver. I'm leaving 2 out, but I know that everybody's going to do a great job, and we're really looking forward to watching those freshmen grow. And they've already joined in. They love training with our program. They love improving. Erin Riggs, she joined us from Kings Mountain, which is she swims for Shelby Sharks, or used to. Now she swims for Asheville. So great to have her on board. We're going to have a lot of distance swimmers, which Galen trained a lot by herself last year, which that wasn't very fun. And then going forward, people that are returners, they have a lot of people pushing them now. We won't have nearly as many. The first day of practice, everybody was confused because they had to share a lane. And they haven't had to do that all of last year. So that was a lot of fun for them that they have an opportunity now. And our last newcomer is Emily Sawyer, and she's joining us from Greenville, North Carolina. So we have 7 young ladies from North Carolina, the state, and 1 from Colorado and 1 from Atlanta.
Now, we hated to lose Kirk Ermels, who was an assistant coach for us last year, and he's got a new job at Boise State. But you've got a new assistant, Claire. Tell us about her, and she's got a pretty good background herself, doesn't she?
She does, yeah. We are sorry to lose Kirk. He got another opportunity, and we wish him well. But we were very fortunate to find Claire Most. This is her first year here. She has moved to town with her fiance in July, and they are loving Asheville, loving the atmosphere, loving being outside. They're big cyclists themselves, and so it's working out perfect. Claire swam for the University of Georgia from 2002 to 2007. She took 1 extra year and finished her undergrad in '08, and then spent 2 more years on an NC2A postgraduate scholarship, getting her master's in nutrition and dietitian. I hope I've said that properly, but she brings a lot to the table. She was an NCAA champion on an individual relay, or on a relay as an individual, but then also as a team. So her team won the NC2As a couple years while she was around. She was an SEC champion of the 500 free. So she brings a lot of energy, a lot of knowledge, and especially her nutrition background is a huge asset to the swimming program, but she's also reached out and helped many other programs as well. I know other sports here at Asheville have asked her, hey, can you come talk to my team? And she's very willing to do so and has really been a great asset.
What would be a great year this year?
The team goal is to finish in the top 5 at a conference. That moves us up from 9th to somewhere in the top 5. We're going to strive for it. We want to win some more dual meets. We are traveling a little bit more this year with our dual meets, kind of a newer program. We're working on home and aways, and that's very common. If I come to you one year, the next year you come to me. So we've added some new people to our schedule. So we'd like to win more dual meets, and we want to finish higher than we did last year.
All right, Elizabeth, thanks so much for stopping on by, and good luck in 2013, 2014.
Thanks so much, Mike. I appreciate it.
All right, that's Elizabeth Lykins, UNC Asheville's head swimming coach. Don't forget they have their first meet. It'll be on Saturday, September 21st at 11 a.m. at Justice Center Pool. We hope you can be there. Next up, we'll have UNC Asheville head men's soccer coach Matt Kern right after this.
My name is Lauren Tamayo, silver medalist, London 2012 for track cycling. We started the project of building the home with Home Trust a year and a half before London. My husband designed the house. When I would be on the road traveling, I would be looking at lights and paint colors. It helped keep my mind off of the training. Some mornings it's definitely hard to go outside when it's early and cold. Kind of like a whole body hurt, how your legs and how you're breathing and your heart rate's going so high that you feel like your heart's gonna just jump out of your chest, but you have to find that motivation. When I'm out there pushing myself beyond the limit, definitely think about coming home to my husband and my family and my new puppy that I have. My home is what centers me, so I can keep pursuing my goals. My Home Trust mortgage fits me.
An equal housing lender, member FDIC.
Welcome back to Bulldog Update, and I'm now joined by head men's soccer coach Matt Kern. Matt, thanks so much for stopping on by.
Thanks for having me.
Matt, this is your 4th year here at UNC Asheville, and like some coaches, though you've actually coached against UNC Asheville because you were at Wofford before you came here. I did a nice job there and everything. The program you left won a conference championship back in 2008. And just tell us what brought you to Asheville.
Well, I was working at Wofford from 2002 through 2007, and we were living in Asheville, although I was working at Wofford, and so it ended up being a natural move, and I spent 2 years after leaving Wofford as Steve's assistant, and then when Steve moved on to Shattuck St. Mary's, I was fortunate enough to step into his position, and it's been a dream. I love it here in Asheville.
Steve Cornish, who was the longtime head coach here for 18 years before you took over, and he did a nice job with this program. And I know that you think highly of Steve, and he really did a good job here, didn't he? For sure. We're very close friends. We still talk probably once a month, and we actually were just exchanging phone messages this morning, and so we keep in touch. He just sent his first
child off to college. Cam went to Luther a couple weeks ago, and so looking forward to catching up on how they're doing here soon.
And that makes all of us feel old here at UNC Asheville, know that
It
Cam's
does.
in college. There's no question
Yes.
about that. Matt, tell us about your background as far as where you're from the Baltimore area, I believe, and stuff, and where you played at in college and before you got to Wofford.
Right. I grew up in between Baltimore and Washington, kind of vintage suburbia, Columbia, Maryland, and had a pretty successful youth career, won a national championship, and then had the opportunity to go play at Hartwick College, a small Division I school in upstate New York, and we were pretty successful there, went to 2 Final Fours. And then afterwards, spent a year as an assistant at Springfield College in Massachusetts, and then got my first head coaching job when I was 23 at Sewanee, the University of the South, and I was there for 12 years. And after that, I moved to Wofford for 6 years, and then was an assistant here for 2 years, and now this is my 4th year as the head coach here at Asheville.
You know, one of the things all those schools have in common, you've been the head coach of, is great academics. University of the South, one of the top schools in probably the world as far as that matters goes and stuff. And Wofford, of course, we all know what a great academic school that is and stuff. And I'm sure that's helped you, being at those places, helped you prepare for coaching at UNC Asheville, who has great academics as well.
For sure. We know what we're looking for from a GPA standpoint and from an SAT standpoint, the type of academic commitment we want from our kids. We want them to be great students, we want them to be great players, and we want them to be great people.
UNC Asheville this year off to a nice start at 2-2, kind of a tough year last year, with a lot of young kids and stuff. But those young kids are starting to grow up a little bit, Matt. And I know that you've already seen miles of improvement compared to last year to this year, even though we're so early in the season.
Sure. We're certainly very thankful about the balance in our classes this year. I think we have 5 seniors, 6 juniors, 4 sophomores, and 6 freshmen. And so that's really helpful from a makeup of the class. We're scheduled, I think, on Saturday night in North Florida to start, I think, 4 seniors, 4 juniors, and 3 sophomores, and so having some experience out there is helpful. Our freshmen are working their way into the rotation, but it's good balance right now for sure.
You sent a nice message in the exhibition season, going down to Davidson, one of the top teams in the Southern Conference, knocking them off 1-0 on our website, of course, 2-2 on their website because you had a little 15-minute scrimmage after that. But
right.
I know that would get some confidence down there.
It did for sure. Davidson's a terrific program and a great school academically. We're kind of in the same ballpark academically in terms of the types of kids that we're going after. They're very successful in the Southern Conference, have a great tradition, and so from the ability to win on the road is always very difficult, and so it was a good confidence builder for our guys for sure.
And a couple nights ago, you get a great one on the road at USC Upstate, a team that's kind of been a thorn in the side of the Bulldogs the last couple of years, and knocking us off 3 straight times in all 1-goal matches that could have gone either way. But UNC Asheville wins it 2-1 with the goal late. I know, Matt, that was a big win on the road Tuesday night.
For sure. The margin of error in college soccer is so small, and there are a lot of games that are decided by 1 goal, and it can be a corner kick that goes your way or doesn't go your way. And it was really nice to see that ball hit the back of the net with just over a minute to go in the game.
UNC Asheville plays in the Big South Conference, which we need to tell soccer fans and stuff is a great league for soccer. Put 2 teams in the tournament last year, Coastal Carolina, which won a couple games in the NCAA tournament. Winthrop, who upset them in the tournament, won a match before losing the second round, but it wasn't all that big of a surprise that the Big South had 2 teams. The NCAA soccer tournament wasn't.
Not at all. The Big South is extremely competitive at the national level. Coastal Carolina certainly has carried the flag the last few years, but Winthrop has a great tradition. There are several other schools that have made appearances in the NCAA tournament, and so it's a situation where we feel like we'll probably be in the position to have 2 teams go again this year.
Matt, just talk about your team this year as far as it goes. Just give me some key players that you feel like. Let's start with some of your seniors and stuff we expect big things from this year.
Right. Well, our senior class right now is like 2 of our 3 captains are seniors. Bobby Castro, who for the past couple years has played in the back, but really recruited him as a forward and played him in the back out of necessity, and so we've had the flexibility to play him up front this year, which has really been helpful because he's extremely quick. So he helps us with a threat in behind, but he also helps us press defensively. Rob May is one of our central midfielders, another captain, and has done a great job from a leadership standpoint and is kind of one of our possession leaders. Mick Giordano is also playing in the middle of the park for us right now, and he's settled into a holding central midfield role extremely well. And Kenneth Lingerfelt might be right now playing as well as I've ever seen him play. He's very dynamic going forward and is defending like he's never defended before.
Your sophomore class that learned so much last year as freshmen. I know you were excited when you signed them, and of course they went through a great deal of learning last year, and they've really grown up this year and stuff. To me, they're almost juniors.
Right.
And just tell us a few of those who you expect big things from this year.
A couple of those guys play some big minutes. Andrew Sotak is a sophomore for us. He plays as a right back this year. He can play anywhere, kind of like Bobby Castro, very much a utility player. And in our system, our outside backs attack and really are kind of playmakers. And so he's certainly been a dynamic player for us so far. Cole Schweitering is a center back for us, big imposing figure at 6'2", 6'3", so he's done a good job defensively for us. And then Emil Gonzalez, who also played for Steve Cornish at Shattuck St. Mary's, is playing up front and is an attacking central midfielder. Is probably our most technical player on the team.
In your freshman class, you brought another talented freshman class. What do you expect from these guys this year, and tell us a little bit about them?
Yeah, they've adjusted well. You know, getting into the speed of the college game is easier said than done. A couple guys who've worked their way into the rotation so far. Grady Bradshaw, who's a local product here from Carolina Day, and HFC has played some minutes as a winger for us and is settling into that role pretty well. Jack Huber at a Castle in Raleigh is a holding central midfielder, a big boy at 6'4", has a little bit of bite to him, sometimes too much, but we're looking for him to be a pretty big contributor. And then Brian Wendelgast right now he's injured. He took a knock about a week ago, but he's given us some minutes at outside back. So those three right now have worked their way into the rotation.
In goal, you have Dan Jackson, who played much last year, and he's been your starter this year. Had the tough assignment of replacing Lassie Herskinen and stuff. And Lassie, who had a great career here and everything. And tell us about Dan, who's really really gotten better with each year.
He has. He's a very good shot stopper, a terrific communicator. His leadership skills have developed, and off the field, he's probably our healthiest nutritionist. And I think in the last year and a half, that's something that he's really brought to the group, which has helped us kind of move forward in terms of our choices off the field. And so he's done really well for us, and really proud for him.
Speaking of goaltending, when we talked about Lassie, I guess the question, kind of a very important question. Did you ever help Lassie with his trick shots videos?
He asked me to. There were some NCAA rules and regulations that we were having to abide by. But we have fun watching him play and make those videos. He keeps in touch with us probably once every month or two, and he's a great person, a great soccer player, and there are great things ahead for him, even beyond what he's already done.
You know, and he actually has some more videos out.
Oh, for sure.
I
think he's on 6 or 7 right now.
And it's got national, which really it must have been interesting for you to come the national coverage that we got on that, which I know as a PR director, was a little unexpected.
For sure. I still get phone calls. They show Champions League games in Europe on TV, and depending on the market, they'll show some of his clips at halftime and during some of the commercial breaks in some of the Champions League games. So it's been great publicity for the university and certainly for Lassie.
What would a successful season be for UNC Asheville soccer this year, Matt? What do you look for, and what would it take to have a successful season?
Well, our goal is to get better every single day. Certainly we have ambitions to compete in the NCAA tournament and to compete for Big South championships. We have expectations to win more than we lose, and so there are some goal-setting things that are on a macro scale, and then there are some that are on a day-to-day kind of process goals. And so we believe that we're going to do some things this year that haven't been done in quite some time.
All right, Matt, thanks so much and good luck this year.
Thank you so much, Mike, for having me.
All right, that's Bulldog Update. We want to thank Matt Kern and Elizabeth Lykins for showing up today. We appreciate them coming on by, and we'll join us next week for Bulldog Update.